Hi everyone, my name's Mary. I am an incoming freshman at Brown University and I will be studying economics and philosophy.
Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm an incoming freshman at Johns Hopkins University, and I will be double majoring in psychology and molecular and cellular biology on the pre-med track.
Hey guys, my name is Biba Malcolm and I'll be a freshman at University of Pennsylvania. I'm going to be majoring in computer science with a minor in math.
Hey guys, I'm Rishika. I'm going to be going to Cornell University this fall as a human biology, health, and society major, hopefully minoring in mathematics or literature, also on the pre-med track.
Hey guys, my name's Ashley and I'm an incoming freshman at Princeton this fall. I will be majoring in economics with minors in neurology and public health. So the Common Application is an online portal from which you can apply to over 900 schools through. It simplifies the college application process. So let's say that you're thinking of applying to 10 different schools. Instead of retyping your demographic information, activities list, and personal statement 10 different times, you can use one common application and send that to multiple schools. Some schools also have additional supplemental essays which you are required to complete, but you also fill those through the Common Application portal. There are two different application rounds you can choose. You can either choose to apply to a school in an early round, or you can apply to a school in a regular round. Early applications are usually due sometime in October or November, whereas regular applications are usually due beginning of January.
When you're applying in the early round, there are three routes you can take. You can apply early decision, early action, or restrictive early action. Early decision is unique because it's a binding contract with the school, meaning you'll have to attend there in the fall if you get in. Early action and restrictive early action are non-binding, so that you don't have to attend there if you do get in the early round. One important thing to note is that in restrictive early action, you can only apply to that school and maybe some other public schools. You have to make sure you check your school's policy about this because certain schools differ. Other routes you can take to apply is rolling admissions, automatic admissions, and during the regular round. Bianca, can you tell us a little bit more about your early decision experience?
Yeah, so I applied ED to Johns Hopkins because I knew I wanted to attend that school, and if I got in, I would attend it because it is binding. And the reason I chose to apply ED is because I love the amount of research and research funding Johns Hopkins has for their student. They're a great study abroad program, and I really like Baltimore and the surrounding area.
I personally applied early action to the University of Michigan. As Biba said before, early action is not binding. You just end up getting your results much earlier. For example, my application deadline was November 1st, the same day as early decision. However, I was able to hear my result by December 19th. Early action is a very common practice for public schools, and most students just apply early so that they can get their results faster.
So I chose to apply restrictive early action. And another name for this is also single choice early action. And I applied to Princeton University with this. So the reason I did this is because I was really interested in Princeton just because of their campus, the culture there, and the curriculum. And this would have given me the strongest chance of getting in. For me, when I applied to Princeton, it very stipulated that they could only apply to them as far as private schools goes, but I could apply to other public schools in the early round. This is pretty standard practice for Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Stanford University.
So I applied early decision and early action. I applied early decision to Williams College and I applied early action to the University of Chicago and the University of Michigan and the University of Wisconsin. So for me, I got deferred by Williams and I got deferred by U Chicago. And I had the option for U Chicago to take my application not into regular decision, but into early decision 2. This is the same thing as early decision. It's just that your application is due in January and they get back to you in February. Ashley, do you want to talk about the different types of deferrals depending on schools?
Sure. So being deferred is not the end all be all. A lot of us in this room were deferred, and sometimes that's a blessing in disguise. Maybe because when you're early action school, you haven't done a lot of research on colleges yet. You don't know what college is your best fit. And so you can take this as an opportunity to revisit your application, amp it up, come back stronger during regular decision, and find the school that's the best match for you. But also keep in mind that not all deferrals from an early action round are created equal. For example, according to a 2014 Yale Daily News report, and of course these numbers change year to year, but it's approximately the same philosophy between schools, Harvard deferred about 69% of its early applicants, whereas Stanford only deferred about 9%. And so depending on which school you've been deferred from, that doesn't mean you should lose all hope. Additionally, and we're going to cover this in another video, or you can reach out to us at www.InReachPrep about this later. If you have been deferred, it's good to send a continued letter of interest to these schools, so these schools know when they're revisiting your application back in the regular round that, hey, this person is still interested, still committed, and we should seriously take a good second look at their application. So apart from the early rounds, you can also apply regular decision. You're going to be submitting your application around January 1st, January 2nd. So if you want to enjoy your Christmas break, make sure you are not procrastinating on those applications to the last minute. And the nice thing about regular decision is that you can apply to as many regular decision schools as you want. There are no restrictions, unlike single choice early action or ED.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about rolling admissions and automatic admission. And these two processes are different. The way that rolling admissions work is that essentially the admissions office will take in any application between two dates. So usually that's maybe August or September to May or July, May or June. And essentially when you bring in your application to the admissions office, they will look at it, and then maybe around 2 weeks or so, they'll give you your result. So for me, I did rolling admission to the University of Missouri, and the University of Missouri also had an automatic admission process, which basically means that if I had a minimum ACT and a minimum GPA, then I would be automatically admitted, and they don't have to look at my essays. So I put in my University of Missouri application, and they looked at my ACT, and around a week or so, they got back to me. So it's a really great safety school choice because you know for sure that you're going to get into this school, and you don't have to worry about waiting, unlike the other processes. Another really good benefit of automatic admission is that quite a few state systems do automatic admission. For example, if you're at the top of your class in Texas, public universities in Texas will automatically admit you.
After you fill out your demographic information, the next part that you're going to fill out is your activity list. This is where you talk about your 10 most important extracurriculars and your 5 most important awards. The biggest takeaway for this is that be specific in each of your sections. One trap that a lot of people fall into is being really general, and you want to stand out to your admissions officers.
Yeah, and another really important part, and I would argue most anxiety-inducing part of the Common Application, is that 650-word personal statement. I created about a 10-minute video breaking down everything I wish I knew before I went to write that personal statement, but the one big takeaway is time management. I cannot stress this enough. Whether you're a good writer or you don't think that you're a great writer, anyone can write a great Common Application essay as long as you give yourself enough time to be inspired and commit great thoughts to paper and not just generic statements.
The next part of your Common Application are recommendation letters. Though these vary school to school, it's recommended that you get at least 2. One from an arts and humanities teacher and another from a STEM teacher. This helps show schools that you're a well-rounded student. And though recommendation letters don't make or break your application, admissions offices do look for red flags or even really good green flags from the recommendation letters that your teachers, coaches, or even more write. Now, to get a good recommendation letter, it's imperative that you have a good relationship with your teacher. This can be done by being a great and involved student in class, or just talking to teachers, going after class, asking them questions. Sound like a passionate and involved student.
Yeah, so just to kind of wrap it all up, most schools require you to get 2 recommendation letters from core teachers, whether it be in humanities or STEM. Additionally, the Common App usually requires you to get a recommendation letter from a counselor. Now, establishing a relationship with a counselor can be difficult, especially if you went to a large public school like me. However, I made sure, starting from my sophomore year to my senior year, to check in regularly with my counselor, give her little handmade cards that I like to give to all of my teachers. As well as submit a resume, as well as a highly detailed letter emphasizing what I'd like her to focus on when she wrote my letter. So even if you do go to a large school and it's tough to film a one-on-one relationship with a counselor, there are other ways to do it to make sure that you're on their radar. Also, it also is a good idea potentially to ask multiple teachers to write you letters of recommendation. Though some schools cap it at 2 or 3 teachers that you're able to submit, because you don't have to submit the same letters of rec to every school you're applying. You can mix it up with the teachers you send, and that can be an application strategy depending on what the school is looking for or what major that you're applying to for that school.
It is imperative that you give them a resume so they know your interests, your accomplishments, and what you've done during high school. You should tell teachers what points you want them to focus on, and you can have different teachers focus on different aspects of your personality.
Recommendation letters from core subject teachers in humanities and STEM. Some schools have policies where you could add additional recommendation letters that don't have to just come from teachers or your counselor. For example, you can ask for a coach recommendation, or you can ask for a peer recommendation, which is a policy that Dartmouth has, and they strongly recommend that all applicants submit a peer recommendation. Bianca, can you tell us about your coach recommendation?
Yeah, so when you get an additional recommendation letter, you generally want it to emphasize a quality that your other teachers may not have spoken about. So I got my recommendation letter from my cross country and track coach, as I'd run varsity cross country and track for 4 years and been a captain for 2 of those years for both sports. So I thought my coach could really give insight into as to how hardworking I am and what kind of a leader I am outside of class.
Hey guys, so thanks for watching. We hope this was helpful for you. It's obviously a very basic guide to help get your feet wet. If you want more information about the Common App, so a second look at your Common App essay, some information about how to pose yourself best in the activity list, and how to get good rec letters, hit us up at www.inreachprep.com.
We're currently offering a 20-minute free consultation for new members, and we're also in the month of June donating 100% of our profits to the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as various local bail funds, and in the upcoming summer months, we'll be donating 50% of our profits to these causes as well. We hope that some of these tips are going to be super helpful for all you Common App newbies. All right, guys, check out some of our other videos in the SWB Tech series, and we hope to see you around sometime soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.